As we anxiously await the release of Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, Sony Pictures Animation gifted us with yet another visually dazzling, action-packed, and hilarious movie with a banger soundtrack to go alongside it. K-Pop Demon Hunters. I've been excited for this movie since the day it was announced, which was 4 years ago. Even though the extent of my K-pop knowledge only goes to Blackpink, Rosé is my bias in case you were curious, and whatever BTS songs I played in my friends' cars while we drove somewhere, when I saw the plot in that gorgeous concept art, I thought, oh yeah, I'm seated. I knew there were going to be people out there who were going to write it off because K-pop is cringe, but I don't care, I was seated regardless. So let's talk about it. First off, let's start with the lore. For generations, 3 women are chosen to be demon hunters while sharing their voices with the world. And during the opening scene, we see various women across various time periods, from gorgeously detailed hanboks to vibrant flapper dresses and beyond. If they did a spin-off anthology series covering these time periods, or even just one on the first hunters, that would be amazing. This is when we see Rumi, Mira, and Zoe, and even though we don't know how they were chosen or their early days together, it's alright, because by the first minute of them together, you already get the sense they've been besties for years. Their camaraderie throughout is amazing, and I am hoping we get some sort of prequel or sequel where we get to explore their origins. I love the characterization of the damien they eat. It's a brand they endorse, which is honestly adorable. But Rumi has the superstar flavor since she's the leader. Zoe has a hamburger flavor since she grew up in the US, and honestly that flavor sounds gross, but her avatar is wearing an Uncle Sam hat, so that's cute. And Mira has the spicy, or rather Spice Queen flavor since she's the hothead, rebellious one of the group. It's a really nice and clever way of showing and not telling their personalities, and even the movie telling us about them is utilized creatively with how their fans are interviewed and explain why each one of the members is their favorite. But later there's a scene of the girls sitting in a circle where they just explain their insecurities to one another, and it felt heavy-handed and a bit clunky. Anyway, one thing I love is that the girls being demon hunters are subtly hinted at through the costume design with stylized militaristic details like epaulets and combat boots. I also noticed Rumi and Zoe's shoulder pads during the International Idol Awards and how they're slightly layered, so I started looking into samurai armor from Japan, then the terracotta army from China, then Korean armor, specifically from the Chosun dynasty, but then I saw they had these studs which are on Zoe's as well as Mira's, so I don't know if they are actually taken from an exact country and or an exact dynasty, but I thought it was a neat detail and an interesting little rabbit hole to go down. Speaking of them, I really like the detail that they're closer to one another than with Rumi, since she's hiding a secret from them, and that allows the two of them to spend a lot more time together at places like the bathhouse. I think that's representative with their International Idol Awards costumes being similar to one another. It's kind of like they share the same brain cell energy like Aang and Sokka in Avatar: The Last Airbender, with how they're both so excited to relax after finishing up their world tour, but of course Rumi comes in 2 seconds later to announce their new single Golden, so it's promo time. And with this being, K-pop Demon Hunters, I obviously have to talk about the music. Oh my gosh, I love my fictional pop girlies. And actually 2 of them have the same name. I've added just about the entire soundtrack to my main Spotify playlist. Right now I would say my favorites would be How It's Done, which is what they sing while they're beating up the demons in the plane, which transitions to their dramatic entrance to their concert in the opening. It's amazing. Not only did they eat, they absolutely served. Seriously, where is the art book for this movie? I mean, how else am I supposed to, oh my gosh, grow my collection? And also, hey yo, Twilight Zone reference? Golden is also super great and super catchy, and hot damn, your idol is infectious. When I first watched it, I was ready to claim sanctuary for the Saja boys. The fact that we've been blessed with the K-pop Demon Hunters and Sinner soundtrack in a matter of months, we should be so lucky. Then I heard that songs like these were produced by the guy who helped create some of Blackpink's biggest hits, so yeah, no wonder I think these songs are such bops. Takedown, Soda Pop, and Free grew on me the second time I watched it, so I can't wait to listen to them more and more as time goes on. Something I should probably mention now is that I've seen this movie twice so far, and my second time was in theaters. I drove over an hour away just to see it because my TV was not doing these visuals justice. It was in the city of Glendale, which is right next to Burbank where Zoe grew up, so I thought that was an amazing coincidence. But y'all, it was so worth it, and it really made me wish it was released widely so that everyone could have the opportunity to see it on the big screen. Anyway, out of all the members of Huntrix, Rumi's my favorite, and this might actually be a good time to talk about spoilers, so highway to the spoiler zone, baby. Skip to this timestamp so you don't spoil yourself on this amazing movie. Seriously, if you have not watched it yet, do it. Ready? Let's go. Despite half the girls' job being demon hunters, it's revealed pretty early on that Rumi herself is a demon, and that's a secret she's hiding from Zoe and Mira. When that news dropped, I was hooked, especially because her mom was a hunter while her dad was a demon, and it's a really intriguing route to go down. Unfortunately, that's about the only information we get about them, so that's why I'm praying we get a sequel. Rumi was taken care of by Celine, who she and her mom were both part of the previous generation's girl group, but Celine tells her to go all conceal don't feel, so yeah, we all know that's gonna end well. But I still found Rumi's journey of self-discovery to be fascinating, and throughout the movie you see how modest her clothing is by wearing hoodies and turtlenecks, and it checks out with the opening scene since she's the only one out of the three wearing a jacket. It is established that Celine has always been strict about the girls showing their flaws, which is why Rumi never tells Mira and Zoe. I predicted this was going to lead to a third act breakup, which it does, and it leads to the scene of the hero at their lowest point going to their mentor, but both scenes are executed well, and witnessing Rumi's desperation to make Mira and Zoe understand and have Celine free her from her curse is really heart-wrenching. Yet at the same time, I do wonder, if they did sit down and talk about it, all of this wouldn't have been blown out of proportion. Maybe this is how my brain works after taking one communications class, but come on. But I guess if they did that, there would be no movie, so whatever. Another thing I was surprised by was Jinu's character depth. The writers could have just had him as the guy whose idea it was to infiltrate the human world by coming in as a rivaling boy band in college day, but they gave him a backstory where he betrayed his family, made a Faustian bargain with the demon god Kima in exchange for wealth and power, but he has to carry the burden of the choice he made. Though I do think there could have been an extra scene or two of their bond getting closer to make this sacrifice during the climax feel especially earned. But aw, he's her sword now. Does that mean her sword traps the souls of its victims now? I don't know. There was an idea early in production where Rumi and Jinu were going to go on an aquarium date, and that would have been so cool. And going back to Elsa, maybe if we do get a sequel, we'll see Rumi literally let her hair down. Ooh, who knows? And speaking of which, there's still things that are left open-ended. The girl's main motivation in the story is to create the Golden Honmoon, which is the shield that will keep demons out of the human world for good, but instead they create a new one, which is iridescent. So maybe it's not as strong as gold, and that'll allow some other demon villain to retaliate, and maybe even try to expose the girl's hunting side hustle to the world. Maybe the Kima we saw in the climax is just his human world counterpart and he's still alive in the spirit realm. Rumi is now proudly showing off her demon patterns, so I guess the media can probably say they're body tattoos. I wonder how they're going to explain that to Bobby. Anyway, there's a bunch of small details and side characters I loved throughout the movie. First of all, yeah, I loved Bobby, Huntrix's manager, who I thought was hilarious, and there's a shot of him looking at the charts with Huntrix's song being number 1, but twice his song is number 2. Love that. I also noticed the varying frame rates depending on the scenes and characters. The humans look to be almost always animated on 2s, so every other frame, which is about 12 frames a second, and that's how you get that choppy motion effect. But then the demons are animated on 1s, which is every frame, aka 24 frames a second, aka smooth motion. It doesn't always stick to these rules, maybe it depends on what's more aesthetically pleasing, but I think it's to emulate an otherworldly aura about them, and I think that's an excellent way to execute it. I'm also curious to know why they changed Mira's weapon of choice from a fan to a guangdao. I mean, she fights really well with it, but let her be a Kyoshi warrior, dammit. I just think fans being used as weapons is so freaking cool. But we do have Zoe with her throwing knives, so at least she's emulating Mei with a personality like Tai Li. Expanded weaponry is another thing I'd love to see in the sequel. So I mentioned Celine earlier, but what I didn't mention is that she's voiced by Yoonjin Kim, who's Sun from Lost, and you also have the seedy doctor voiced by my beloved Daniel Day Kim, who's Jin from Lost. Yeah, Celine and Han don't share the screen, but it just makes my little Lost heart happy seeing the two of them involved in another project. Han's scene with Huntrix was really fun, and it's funny that this is not the first time Daniel Day Kim has played a doctor named Han. Oh, and also the Pro Zed voiced one of the Saja boys, the one named Abby because of his abs. Johnson Smith is going places, and I'm so proud of him. My original intention for this video was to spread the word of this movie since there was little to no build-up. The release date and first and only trailer was released a month before it came out, and maybe it's not all that surprising knowing Netflix, but it does seem to be catching on now that it's out. The songs and music videos are getting millions of streams. I, of course, am among them. Fan art is going viral on Twitter. There's probably fun stuff going on TikTok. I don't know, I haven't used it in years. But I originally thought this movie was going to get buried underneath everything else Netflix has put out, so I'm really glad to see it has a voice. Now, I just wanted an excuse to yap about this movie, but if this video did get you interested in watching it, then yay! Awesome, splendid even. So overall, in case it wasn't obvious, I loved K-pop Demon Hunters. It was one of my most anticipated movies of this year, and I am oh so glad it delivered. It's been a few years since I listened to Blackpink's new music, so maybe this is a good time for me to catch up. I should start getting into K-dramas too. Whenever I come across one on Netflix or Letterboxd, I just add them to the watchlist pile. But anyway, this is another win for Sony Pictures Animation, and I can't wait to see what they do next. A raunchy comedy about a dog getting neutered? Okay. Directed by Genndy Tartakovsky? Okay. I mean, it's definitely something different. Guess we'll have to see. Oh yeah, and there was another brand new animated movie from a major studio that also came out on Friday, June 20th that also barely received any promotion that I unfortunately already forgot about. Pixar came out with a new movie, Elio. Like a lot of their movies that came out this decade, I thought it was fine. I was going to make a review on it, but then I realized it would just be 10 minutes of me going, this movie was barely marketed. What's up with that? And Tahani El-Jamil's in this movie. Oh, dip! I went to Disneyland a couple days before it came out and took footage of the near non-existent promo to be all like, wow, crazy, but I guess I didn't need any of it.
We've been in the park for how long and we're just now seeing this?
Like 4 hours.
Are you kidding me? Ah. Damn, crazy.
That's very, very loud.
Oh well. Yeah, it's sad to see that an original Pixar movie is underperforming while their sequels make bank, but I want worthwhile original Pixar movies to be made. Oh well, 6 out of 10. Hopefully Gato will be better. That reminds me, I need to give KPop Demon Hunters a score. 9 out of 10. There we go. The story is a bit clunky and rushed here and there, but I adored the animation, music, characters, and action. Here's hoping we get more from this world, which better include an art book. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and join my Patreon to support me, and I will see you later. Goodbye!